Good morning, everybody. While seeing what is happening in Gaza right now, or seeing hunger, or seeing starvation, I'd like to speak today in order to alleviate the feeling of guilt that many of from the Arab world are witnessing right now, are feeling right now. They are feeling that they are guilty because they didn't come to the rescue of the Gazans who to the hungry Gazans who are suffering starvation right now. So I'd like to say that we are not guilty. There are two parties, two belligerents who are guilty for such a thing, for such terrible thing to happen. Starvation there is a terrible thing, and the guilty for the culprits for this to happen are two parties, the two belligerents, the Israelis and Hamas. If you see the ceasefire agreements, ceasefire meetings they are making right now in order to reach a ceasefire agreement, we see that each one of them try to never to budge on the ceasefire. They don't want to give concession because they are reaching the final stage of this war. If any one of them, if any part of them, the Israelis or Hamas, gives any concession, they will lose the war. If Hamas accepts to reach a 60-day ceasefire, if that happens, if Hamas accepts that agreement to be reached, Hamas would not be able to regain its ability to fight Israel, because after the lapse of the 60-day ceasefire, Israel will resume fighting Hamas until it reaches the goal of dismantling. Israel has the professed goal, the stated goal of dismantling Hamas and depriving it of the ability to continue as a ruling power there. So Hamas knows very well that it cannot budge on these conditions. It cannot give concession that allow a ceasefire agreement to be reached and to consequently to alleviate the suffering of Gazans. So alleviating the suffering of Gazans cannot happen unless Hamas give concession. Hamas does not want to give any concession, because if it gives concession, it will lose the war. It will lose its ability as an organization, even working in Gaza. It will not be there. As for Israel, if Israel gives any concession, it will also lose the war. Hamas wants a permanent ceasefire, a complete ceasefire that continues, afterward which a rehabilitation starts, and an urban rehabilitation and the rebuilding of the devastated city. So if this happens, a permanent ceasefire if happens, Hamas will continue to be there to the disadvantage of Israel. Israel does not want Hamas to continue as a ruling or a political, even or a military wing. It cannot eliminate it completely as individuals or members of Hamas belonging to Hamas. It cannot eliminate them as individual, but it wants to eliminate the organization of Hamas, its ability to launch another big attack against Israeli communities. So each part, these are two parts. So Israel cannot or do not want to give any concession. So we have to say that Israel is the enemy. So in order to reach to alleviate the suffering of Gazans, we have to place the more blame on Hamas than on Israel, because Israel is an enemy, whereas Hamas is a fighting claims that it's a fighting wing that defends the interests of the Palestinian people. So it is ruling the strip. So it has among its responsibilities is to see for itself how to alleviate the suffering of the Palestinians. They are suffering now hunger and death. It's a very terrible to not to die because of shells befalling your house, but to die because because you cannot have the food to eat. It's a catastrophic. So Hamas is more to blame than Israel because Hamas is supposed to be the ruling force governing the area, and it has to budge, to give concessions. So the suffering of Palestinians has to be prioritized over any other consideration. Hamas fights because it should be in a position to make life better for Gazans. If it fails to do so, it's a failing its own citizens, and this is a catastrophic for everybody. So as we as Arabs, are Egyptians, should not be blamed for the continuation of this hunger, for this starvation. Hamas is the first party to be blamed for the continuation of this catastrophe. And thank you very much for we hope we reach an agreement as soon as possible and end this hunger and prevent more people from dying because of they cannot find food. Thank you for watching, and see you again later on. Thank you.